On my birthday, Justin brought home Catherine, whose baby bump was already showing. "Claire, Catherine is pregnant. The child cannot be illegitimate. Sign the divorce agreement first. You leave with nothing. After the baby is born, we'll remarry." I turned around, hid the pregnancy test showing 2 lines, and signed the agreement. Catherine feigned surprise. "You're so understanding, Claire." I smiled faintly. She was the one who was innocent and cute. There was a cooling-off period for divorce now, in a month, on the household register. Whether I would be divorced or widowed was still uncertain. When the agreement was handed to me, I simply glanced at it and signed it decisively. I handed it back to Justin. His hand paused as he took it. "You're not going to read it carefully?" I replied, "An agreement where I leave with nothing doesn't involve property division. What is there to see?" Catherine sighed affectingly beside him. "Justin, Claire is really understanding." Justin patted her head, looking doting. "Of course, everything now centers on the child in your belly." After putting away the agreement, he still said a few more words to me. "Leaving with nothing is to avoid the time and effort of transferring assets back and forth. After the child is born and we remarry, everything will return to its rightful place." I laughed. "Is that so? Then why can't you be the one leaving with nothing?" Justin was choked by my words, but he didn't really need to explain to me. I didn't care at all. 4 months, right? I looked at Catherine's belly. Justin asked quickly, "How did you know?" He was always suspicious. If he knew I had long been aware of his hidden mistress, he might go crazy. I took a sip of water. I replied calmly. "I haven't eaten pork, but I've seen pigs run. Besides, it's not like I haven't been pregnant before." Hearing this, Justin's face darkened. Catherine was surprised. "You've had a miscarriage, Claire." I nodded. "Yes, a year ago, right around this time. The baby was 4 months old when the heartbeat stopped." Catherine quickly clung to Justin's shoulder. "Justin, I'm scared." Justin looked at me, emotions I couldn't decipher welling in his eyes. Was it self-reproach or guilt? In the end, it all turned into heartache for Catherine. He held Catherine tightly. "Don't be afraid. I won't let that happen to you." After speaking, he turned to instruct me again. "You don't need to say anything to grandfather. He knows about these things." I quickly nodded in agreement. Justin was speechless. Clearly, before bringing Catherine back, he had prepared for a bitter struggle. He hadn't expected me to be so calm. Finally, he took out a beautifully wrapped box. "Claire, thank you for your hard work. Happy birthday. I'll have dinner with you tonight." With that, he got up to take Catherine for her prenatal checkup. Before the door closed, watching his back as he held Catherine, I suddenly asked, "Justin, do you remember the vow you made at our wedding?" Justin turned back, his throat moving, but he didn't speak. I continued, "You said back then that in your life there would be no divorce, only widowhood." As soon as I finished speaking, Catherine sneered beside him. "Vows only count the moment they are made. You're a grown woman, don't you understand this principle?" Justin interrupted her, his voice hoarse. "Claire, I remember. I told you, we are only temporarily divorcing." I smiled. "Yes, I believe you. You will definitely keep your word." Justin left with Catherine. Back in the room, I opened the gift box. Inside lay a huge blue diamond quietly. Justin and I bonded over jewelry. Before marriage, I was a jewelry designer. At my first solo jewelry design exhibition, he bid for the most expensive piece, a tourmaline brooch. He put it on right there and asked for my contact information. Justin was exceptionally handsome. The red tourmaline was fiery and intense, accentuating his nobility and refinement. I had a good impression of him from our first meeting, but what really moved me was his choked confession in my ear one time after he was drunk. "Claire, you are wounded, and so am I. Only those who have been hurt know how painful it is to be hurt. I will protect you in the future and won't let you be hurt again. Both of us had issues with our families of origin. The wound Justin spoke of was his status as an illegitimate child. He was left in an orphanage since childhood and was only taken back when the only legitimate son of the Hayes family died accidentally. And the wound of mine he spoke of was my father's reputation for philandering and my mother's early death. Since childhood, I was the only girl in the family and the least valued. That night, Justin held me in his burning embrace, as if trying to embed me into his body. Caressing his face, two wounded souls thought they recognized each other. We fell in love. Our families knew each other, so marriage came naturally. After marriage, he was busy with the group's affairs, and I returned to family life. He felt quite guilty about this. Whatever I liked, if I looked at it for a second longer, he would remember. At the Paris exhibition a year ago, I took a fancy to this valuable blue diamond at first sight, but missed it by chance. After so long, he still bought it back as a birthday gift. There was a knock on the door, the cake delivery. Grandfather Hayes called. "My dear granddaughter-in-law, happy birthday. See if you like the cake." He continued immediately. "That bastard Justin actually got someone pregnant outside. I've already scolded him for you. But you also know he cares whether the child is illegitimate because of his own background. Bear with it a little. After all, what that woman is carrying." Playing the emotional card. I felt a bit irritable and cut the cake casually. The cream was sweet, but my heart felt tight and astringent. I finished the sentence for him. "Carrying the Hayes family's flesh and blood, we can't deny it a status. I signed the agreement. But saying I'm not aggrieved would be a lie. My family's side." The old man pondered for a moment and quickly understood what I meant. "Don't mention it to your family for now. Grandfather will compensate you for your grievance. Speak. What do you want?" I spoke up, asking for an entire floor of the Hayes Tower in the city center. The old man was slightly surprised. For so many years, I had been managing trivial matters at home, playing the role of Justin's good wife. Now, I suddenly wanted expensive real estate. I explained, I want to open a design studio in the city center. The old man pondered for a while and agreed. After all, compared to telling my father about this and ruining the years of friendship between the two families, these material things were nothing. "I'll call Justin right now and tell him to handle the procedures. As for the Vance family..." Grandfather Hayes wanted to continue instructing me, but I didn't want to listen anymore. After finding an excuse to hang up, a wave of nausea rose in my throat. I rushed to the toilet and threw up a large mouthful. I was pregnant. Justin didn't know about this yet. Just as the child in Catherine's belly couldn't possibly be related to me, the child in my belly had not a single drop of blood relation to Justin either. But to keep the child, I wouldn't let Justin know the truth. After all, the pain of miscarriage, I didn't want to experience it again. A year ago, 4 months pregnant, I went to the hospital alone for a prenatal checkup. That time, I was carrying Justin's biological flesh and blood. But I saw with my own eyes his reunion with Catherine in a private ward. I saw him holding her face, weeping with joy. I saw his body, unable to control his emotions, tightly entwined with hers. Emotionally devastated, I nearly fainted, leading to a miscarriage. When Justin arrived belatedly, the doctor told him the lost child was already formed. For the first time, I saw Justin shed tears. But at the same time, I also saw the lipstick mark on his collar he hadn't had time to wipe off. I smelled the unfamiliar perfume on him. After that, I pretended to know nothing and continued to be his Mrs. Hayes. And while my body hadn't fully recovered yet, he began using work as an excuse to stay out all night. During countless nights alone in the empty room, a private detective sent photos one by one, enough to tear my heart and lungs apart. The husband I loved deeply, just like that for another woman, built a love nest outside and lived a married life. Every time he returned to me, he acted as if nothing happened, saying he loved me, pleasing me, just as before. During that time, I endured the lingering discomfort of the miscarriage alone, struggling bitterly in the emotional abyss of betrayal. Justin knew that having witnessed my father's amorousness since childhood, I hated betrayal the most. This person who kept promising he wouldn't hurt me. How could he wrap two skins around one heart? Finally, after countless sleepless nights, I figured it out. Perhaps I was wrong. I didn't know the person sleeping beside me. I decided to understand him thoroughly. So, from the hospital where he was born to the orphanage where he grew up, and then to the Hayes family, even about Catherine, I spent a lot of energy investigating. Now I knew Justin better than he knew himself. For example, he didn't know. His birth mother was diagnosed with severe mental illness after giving birth to him. And this mental illness had a high probability of being hereditary. I felt much better after vomiting. Standing up, I gently stroked my lower abdomen. I definitely wanted to give birth to this child. After getting Justin's genetic test results, that sentence of his kept circling in my mind. No divorce, only widowhood. My, Claire Vance's child, couldn't become illegitimate because of a divorce. Then there was only one option left, wasn't there? I could only force myself to become a widow. In the early morning, a familiar warmth came from my cheek. I opened my eyes and saw Justin sitting by the bed. He touched my face, fatigue showing between his brows. I wanted to come back earlier to celebrate your birthday with you, but Catherine wasn't feeling well, so I made an appointment with a private doctor to check on her, and it took until now. A heavy scent of perfume came from him. It was Catherine's scent. I turned my head away. I don't like the smell on you. He went to the bathroom to shower, then got into bed and pulled me into his arms. Is it better now? I used your body wash. The scent of gardenia came from his breath. Justin spoke hoarsely. Claire, I really can't let go of Catherine. When I was left in the orphanage as a child, everyone else mocked and bullied me. Only Catherine was willing to be my friend and be good to me. Later, I returned to the Hayes family and went back to the orphanage to look for her everywhere, but I couldn't find her. I thought I would never see her again in this life. But fate let us meet again. All these years, Catherine had a very hard time. She went abroad with a foreign couple and suffered all kinds of grievances. Now that she's finally back by my side, how can I let her live a hard life again? You also know I am an illegitimate child. I know the hardships that status brings. How can I let Catherine's child become illegitimate? Unlike his usual reticence this time, Justin said a lot. It was also the first time he opened his heart to talk to me about Catherine. But I only found it laughable. When he stayed out all night in the past, I had asked him if he was hiding something from me. He never said a word. Now that Catherine was 4 months pregnant and the secret couldn't be kept, he came to bare his heart? I asked him coldly. To not let her live a hard life again, you must sleep with her and have a child with her? Justin fell silent. After a long while, he spoke again. Claire, hearts are made of flesh. I said so much, and you only focus on this point? After she returned to the country, I took care of her more in life. But in that aspect, I didn't do it with her many times, and they were all accidents. I never expected it to hit. Seeing I remained silent, he sighed again, seeming to summon great patience to continue. The child was my negligence. I'm sorry. But I swore, Mrs. Hayes will always be you in this life. I turned my head. Moonlight fell on his handsome face. Everyone said our meeting was a match made in heaven. Only later did I learn that he had asked Grandfather Hayes to propose marriage to my family long ago. At the design exhibition, to bid for that brooch, he had also found people to bid up the price in advance. The person I loved was deeply scheming. Now he could make betrayal sound so self-consistent. Truly repulsive. Dodging Justin's approaching body, I said lightly, Grandfather told you, right? When will the property rights of that floor be transferred to me? Justin's body stiffened instantly. Claire, I poured my heart out to you, and your head is full of property rights. You weren't this snobbish in the past, I asked back. In the past, you didn't cheat either. Now you are the one cheating, and I am the one leaving with nothing. What right do you have to accuse me of being snobbish? After silence, Justin got up from the bed. You really are overreacting. Claire, have you considered that it's because I love you that I'm willing to explain here and coax you eagerly? Do you know how much that blue diamond costs? Enough for Catherine's expenses for a year. You don't work and live in luxury at home. Now that I've just violated a taboo, you hold on to it and make a meaningless fuss. He mocked me vindictively. You grew up in the Vance family. You have quite a few brothers and sisters outside the home. With your father as an example, you should know better than me that for such a common thing, I actually didn't need to explain at all. Although I had prepared myself mentally long ago, Justin's words still stabbed my heart like a sharp knife. In the darkness, the corners of my lips curled into a bitter smile. Life is so dramatic. Whatever you fear comes to you. In the past, he used my family of origin to move me. Now, he could use this matter to attack me. Justin continued speaking, his voice icy. Think about it carefully. I'll have someone transfer the property rights to you tomorrow. When you have time, we'll go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to apply for divorce together. After speaking, he got up and went to the guest bedroom. My phone lit up at this moment, too. I received a reply from my father. Come home as soon as possible. After that night, Justin never came back. He had someone deliver the transferred title deed. I packed my luggage. On the day I called someone to move my things, I called him. Catherine's coquettish laugh came from the other end. Justin, this stroller is beige. It matches the house very well. It will definitely look good against the river view. Justin replied with a smile, Then this is the one. Only then did he come back to his senses and ask me, Claire, what is it? I replied, Justin, your child is getting big. It's time to get a divorce. Hanging up the phone, I looked around before leaving. The decoration and design of this home were completed by me dragging Justin along personally. The wall color was chosen by me, the warm beige in Catherine's mouth. Justin said at the time that the home we built personally would be our strongest haven. Thinking about it now, I only felt irony. The Riverview room Catherine mentioned on the phone was this marital home. But it didn't matter. I had prepared a housewarming gift for Catherine, who wanted to intrude. In the study, Justin's test report lay quietly. After the procedures were done, when she moved in to rest during her pregnancy, it would be just the right time to open this gift. Justin took Catherine to the Civil Affairs Bureau. After registering while he went to answer a phone call, Catherine came over arrogantly to size me up. Sister Claire, you are beautiful and from a good family, but there is one thing where you are inferior to me. I took her words. Which point? Let's hear it. You think too highly of yourself, too pretentious. Justin got tired of you long ago. Do you think he's with me just because of nostalgia? No. He fell in love with the current me. After the cooling off period, we will get married. With the child, I will make him even more inseparable from me. When the time comes, I can't possibly divorce him. As for you two remarrying, I advise you not to count on it. I replied to her, Yeah, you really aren't pretentious. Great technique, that's why you got pregnant so fast, right? Catherine choked. When Justin returned, her eyes were slightly red, and slander came naturally to her lips. Justin, I'm scared. Sister Claire just said that after the child is born, she will make me disappear completely. Displeasure appeared on Justin's face. Claire, why are you scaring a pregnant woman? I looked at him calmly. Believe it or not, I didn't say that. But Justin obviously believed Catherine more. While wiping Catherine's tears, he said to me, The most important thing now is to take good care of the child in Catherine's belly. The house is in a good location, close to the prenatal checkup hospital. Catherine will move in these few days. Sure, I smiled back. I'll make room for you guys. I'll go live in the Design Institute in the tower. Hearing this, Justin's face softened a bit, and his tone became gentler. Claire, no need to move. It was originally our marital home. You continue to live there. After the child is born... Already moved out, I interrupted him quickly. Catherine immediately stomped her feet happily. Justin, the next checkup is coming soon. I'll hurry up and pack to move over. We're going to have a home, right? Justin nodded. After putting Catherine in the car, he walked back to me. He waved his hand. Claire, I will always wear our ring. You also know how much grandfather hopes for a successor to the Hayes family. So during this time, I have to take more care of Catherine. Our wedding rings were modified by me using that tourmaline brooch to commemorate our meeting. Justin looked at my empty finger. You still haven't figured it out, have you? I really have no choice. Must everything be cut open and said? Claire, from your miscarriage last time until now, it's been more than a year, and you haven't conceived again. Now that someone can bear a child for you, you should be grateful. Do you know that? I looked at Justin, feeling extremely unfamiliar. At this moment, I completely didn't recognize him. It was hard to imagine that the person who once shared a bed with me could be shameless to this extent. I sneered. Justin, not conceiving your child again is what I should be grateful for. Perhaps he had enough of my cynicism. Justin finally put away his hypocritical appearance completely. Claire, once the cooling off period is over, the agreement for you to leave with nothing will take effect. There are still 4 months until Catherine gives birth. You'd better put away your lofty airs. After all, after the child is born, whether we remarry or not is up to me. A smile hung on my face. That looks right. This is the posture of an ugly person who has done all sorts of ugly things. Justin was furious and came up to grab my wrist. Claire, do you think I can't do anything to you? I shook off his shackles vigorously. I don't care about anything. I don't even need the property. You really can't do anything to me. After speaking, I got straight into the car and started the engine. Grandfather Hayes said not to let the Vance family know about this, but I had already told my family. But not just to ruin the relationship between the two families and take revenge on the Hayes family. I was preparing to fight a tough battle. After arriving home, Justin's mocking words circled in my ears. You grew up in the Vance family. You have quite a few brothers and sisters outside the home, with your father as an example. Being mocked by a husband using one's own biological father was also tragic. Sitting in the car, after going over the matter from beginning to end again. Only then did I get out of the car to knock on the door. After getting married, I hadn't returned home once. The butler's eyes lit up when he saw me. The eldest miss is back. My father was waiting for me in the study early on. His face was livid. Closing the door, I turned around. He raised his hand and slapped me. How could you let a mistress get pregnant? Can't even watch a man properly, useless waste. Since childhood. Classmates and friends around me envied me for being born in a wealthy family, free from financial worries. But only I knew what kind of life I lived. I was the only girl in the family, instilled with the importance of marriage since childhood. Everything developed in a direction conducive to commercial alliances. After growing up, my marriage was destined to help the Vance family consolidate the commercial map of entangled interests. Back then, to ensure no problems with the alliance between the two families. My father told Grandfather Hayes all my preferences in advance. Thus, during our dating period, Justin could cater to my likes and bring me the ultimate experience in all aspects. They hid it from me together, thinking I was a fool who didn't know anything. Now that Justin made a mistake, my closest person turned around to lecture me. Covering my face, I glanced at my father, cold enough to laugh. My father was angered. What do you mean? I handed the registration receipt to my father. There's an even bigger surprise I haven't mentioned yet. I signed the agreement to leave with nothing and filed for divorce. It will take effect after the cooling off period. Looking at that receipt, my father's eyes almost spewed fire. How could you sign such an agreement? Why didn't you say it in advance? Are you crazy? If the Hayes family wants to use this to swallow assets... How could I not have thought of what my father said? but say it in advance. Without using this method to drag the Vance family completely into the water, how would he be willing to help me? He had never been on my side. For the benefit of the Vance family, he would force me to accept the illegitimate child and continue to be bound with Justin for a lifetime. I continued. The Hayes family says we will remarry after the child is born, but who can be sure about things months later? Is it hard to accept having lost the initiative completely? But I have a way now to take away more than half of the Hayes family assets. Think clearly whether you want to help me or not. After speaking, I handed Justin's test report to my father. An hour later, my father walked me out of the study. His expression was complex, but his attitude was rarely gentler. It's a risky move. Take care of yourself too. I touched the half of my face he had slapped. The stinging pain was still there. I looked at the few white hairs sprouting on his head. You're getting old. You should pay more attention to your health. But Dad, I grew up long ago. Stop being so hypocritical. We are in a cooperative relationship now. That slap just now was the last time you can touch me. Business partners don't slap each other, do they? Hearing such words from the usually obedient me, my father was stunned. I turned around, not looking at him again. Walking out the door, I sent a message to Justin. There is something I feel better to remind you early. I did a genetic test when preparing for pregnancy before. The report is on the shelf in the study. I think you should take a look. Justin didn't know I had installed surveillance cameras at home. Images came to my phone. Catherine took off her shoes as soon as she arrived home, lying on the sofa in the living room, acting just like the hostess. Justin went straight to the study. Half an hour later, he came out holding that report. Supporting his forehead, he looked a bit broken. That report stated clearly, the genome Justin carried had a high probability of causing mental illness. This meant that for the rest of Justin's life, a trigger would hang beside his brain. Once stimulating factors in the acquired environment were met, the trigger would be pulled, inducing mental disorder. But him suffering alone, how could that be enough? He was now even more worried about the child in Catherine's belly. If the child inherited this gene, wouldn't there be another trigger? Justin put his arm around Catherine's shoulder. He said he wanted to take her to the hospital to do a genetic screening for the child. Hearing this, Catherine jumped up and began to struggle vigorously, crying like a pear blossom bathed in rain. I saw clearly the lingering panic on Catherine's face. Why was she so resistant to going to the hospital? Justin didn't know the reason, but I did. Because Catherine's child wasn't his at all. Doing a genetic test would expose it. But I knew Justin. He was abandoned since childhood. Sensitive personality, prone to anxiety, couldn't stand uncertainty the most. Sure enough, Catherine was still dragged out the door by him. Living close to the hospital did have benefits. The checkup was fast, and the report came out fast too, on a rainy day a week later, Hayes Tower. Justin knocked on my door. "Wifey," he called me, his eyes full of bloodshot veins. "I'm so tired." About him being so tired, I knew perfectly well. In just 1 week, too many things had happened. After the marriage alliance, the Hayes and Vance families were intertwined and relied on each other. They were the ones who knew each other's weaknesses best. These days, my father called my brothers, secretly besieging the Hayes family's business in the short term, focusing on attacking the sectors Justin was responsible for. Justin was enduring the mental stimulation brought by genetic problems, while dealing with various emergencies in the business field. And today he had completely broken down emotionally. I sent him an email anonymously. The content was a compressed file. After clicking open, there were photos of Catherine's secret meeting with her lover. Justin said he didn't do it with Catherine many times before she got pregnant. Facts proved it wasn't that he was extremely potent. It was Catherine meeting frequently with the little lover she brought back from abroad. And before he came, he just happened to get the genetic screening result that could corroborate the secret meeting photos. Catherine's child didn't carry the pathogenic gene. In fact, all the genes of that child had nothing to do with him. I turned and let Justin in. The room was full of exquisite things. During this week, I was actually very busy, too. I moved all my previous design works in. Looking at these works, Justin was slightly lost in thought. After all these years, I almost forgot you were a designer. I poured a glass of water for Justin. Yeah, I almost forgot, too. Have to pick it up slowly. Justin handed over a dessert bag. Bought your favorite dessert. I took it, put it on the table, and glanced at Justin. He looked exhausted, his appearance sloppy. His suit hadn't been ironed for a long time, and the cufflink colors were mismatched. Seeing me size him up, he mocked himself. Pathetic, right? A lot has happened recently, too much to handle, so I haven't come to see you. I remained silent. Justin stood up and took a ring out of his pocket. It was my wedding ring that I left behind when I departed. Handing it to my eyes, Justin's voice was hoarse. Wifey, I was wrong. Let's go cancel the application. Come home with me, okay? As soon as he finished speaking, thunder crashed outside. In an instant, heavy rain poured down. Justin got up immediately, stepped forward to hug me. It's thundering. Claire, don't be afraid, I'm here. My dad and mom were campus sweethearts. Later, because of my dad's unclean relationships with women outside, my mom suffered from severe depression. It was on such a stormy day. She ended her life amidst lightning and thunder. In the past, whenever it thundered, Justin would hug me. This almost became a conditioned reflex for him. I glanced at the lightning outside the window, looked up, and said lightly, Justin, since Catherine returned to the country until now, I spent 10 thunderstorm nights by myself. Hearing this, Justin's face was full of regret. Claire, I'm sorry, But hearing his apology, I laughed out loud. But Justin, I'm actually not afraid of thunder. In the past, to cater to your desire to protect, I pretended to be afraid, that's all. I broke free from his arms. From now on, I finally don't have to pretend anymore. A trace of confusion appeared on Justin's face, as if he didn't understand. Claire, what are you saying? I took a step back, putting distance between us. What am I saying? Speaking the truth. Justin, we were husband and wife once. Let's part on good terms. Some things are better told to you. My mom was a woman who cherished love like her life. After being betrayed by her beloved, she lived like a walking corpse every day. So when she left, I was sad to death, but also happy for her. She wasn't strong enough. Death might have been a release. So the thunder that day gave me no reason to fear. It was just later, when mentioning these things to Justin, he presumed on his own that I was afraid of thunder and promised not to let me spend stormy days alone in the future. Thus, I began to fear thunder. Since childhood, I learned to use others' understanding of me to cater to their expectations. Just like I never liked jewelry design. My dad didn't value me. I needed various means to please him. Jewelry design fit the setting of a good wife material in my dad's eyes. So, when choosing a major abroad, I proactively took the design drawings I drew and told him I wanted to be a jewelry designer. At the jewelry design exhibition where I met Justin, including that red tourmaline brooch, actually, all the jewelry was priced arbitrarily by me. So, when that brooch was auctioned off at a ridiculously high price by him and the shills he hired amid cheers, I already had a faint guess. Our meeting might be a trap carefully designed by him to please me. But coincidentally, I also set my sights on him as prey. The Hayes family had much better assets than the Vance family. He was also the sole heir of the Hayes family. Marrying him was indeed an opportunity for my future, too. So I began to cater to his love as prey. Before marriage, I actively revealed my trauma. He developed a strong desire to protect me, and I would be moved to tears by his various promises. After marriage, when viewing exhibitions, I always let him see the jewelry I liked just right to satisfy his desire to compensate me. On the surface, we were a couple, made in heaven. Actually, Justin, when it comes to acting, I'm better than you. After speaking, I picked up the water glass and moistened my throat. Justin's eyes were bloodshot, his hands trembling slightly. "So you're saying you never loved me?" "You still don't understand me." My voice betrayed no emotion. "Have you ever thought that for me, being willing to act with you was already loving you? We could have been an ordinary commercial alliance, couldn't we?" "You have anxiety. For you, I taught myself psychology. Choosing beige for the home wall color wasn't for warmth. It was to alleviate anxiety. For so many years, I liked blue gemstones because in crystal therapy, blue stones can soothe the mind. There are many things like this. If I didn't love you, why would I bother?" Justin was speechless. Another flash of lightning passed. I put down the water glass, walked close to him. Meeting his gaze, I gently stroked his face. "But what about you, hubby? How did you repay me? Did you know our first child was miscarried because I saw the dirty things between you and Catherine?" My eyes were full of hatred. "How could you trample my sincerity like this? Justin, you really deserve to die." Justin grabbed my wrist back. "You're right, it's all Catherine. She killed our child and lied that she was carrying my child. This rotten woman, I will make her life worse than death." I shook him off. "Don't touch me dirty, you lunatic." Lunatic dash dash. Hearing this word, Justin's hands couldn't stop shaking. "You're talking about my genetic test, right? Claire, I'm not dirty and I'm not crazy. Believe me, I'll be fine. I will protect you for a lifetime. We will have children in the future. They will definitely be healthy." Justin was going crazy. Just then, his secretary called, saying someone exposed the scandal between him and Catherine online, causing the listed stocks under the group to plummet. Grandfather Hayes also called me, roughly meaning asking me to help explain well to the Vance family and not to speak nonsense to the media. I agreed to everything one by one. Justin looked at me with gratitude. "Wifey, I know I made a monstrous mistake. I will definitely give you an explanation. I'll go deal with business matters first. Wait for me to come back." After speaking, he got up, walking towards the door while making a call. A smile curled at the corner of my lips. Under a series of stimulations, Justin's steps were already unsteady. But this was far from enough. How could I let him go? There was one most important thing I hadn't told him yet. Before closing the door, I said to him, "Justin, do you know how your birth mother died? Go home. The answer is there." The answer is at home. The answer was in Catherine's hands. As soon as Justin arrived home, he saw Catherine sitting on the sofa. There were bruises around Catherine's mouth, and her eyes were swollen too. Justin had called someone to teach her a lesson. Sitting before the bay window with the river view, she was holding an old notebook, flipping through it. Seeing Justin return, a crazed smile appeared on her face. "Justin, guess what I found? You called someone to beat me, and right after, someone sent me a big gift. Justin, I know all your secrets. We have to be together for this lifetime." Catherine didn't know that the person who ordered someone to stuff that diary to her was me. That was Justin's mother's diary from back then. It recorded the process of how Justin's late father and mother fell in love. It also recorded how Justin's father, after learning about Justin's mother's genetic history of mental illness, ruthlessly abandoned her and the young Justin. The first half of the diary was warmth, longing. Justin's father said he couldn't give his mother a title, but would take good care of her and the child for a lifetime. The second half suddenly shifted and collapsed. Because of external stimulation, Justin's mother really went mad. The diary began to be full of resentment and ravings. After Justin was sent to the orphanage, she was put under house arrest by Justin's father and died alone in a rental apartment. This matter was hidden well by Justin's father. Only he himself knew. Catherine pressed close to Justin. "Justin, believe me. With that man, I didn't mean to. Life abroad was hard. I owed him money. He chased me here, pestering me to force me to pay with my body. I didn't expect to get pregnant either. Justin, do you remember when we were in the orphanage? Pity me. Don't let me live a hard life again." Justin's eyes were deep as ink. He kept flipping through the diary. Without looking up, he only replied coldly with one word, "Get out." Catherine laughed to herself. "Justin, such a nice house. You tell me to get out? If you hadn't provoked me, I wouldn't have become this ghost-like appearance now. Say, if I go tell the Hayes family grandfather, letting him know you are a grandson carrying the lunatic gene, what would he do? Who knows if your amorous dad has other illegitimate children outside?" After these words fell, Justin finally looked up at her. "Catherine, I cared so much about our childhood friendship, and you plotted against me like this?" Mockery hung on Catherine's face. "Childhood friendship? Justin, if you really cared, even if I went abroad later, how could you not find me? You married a rich beauty as a wife, living in such a good house. Life was very nourishing. You definitely wouldn't think of me. Meeting me later was just lust at first sight. Think about it. If you found I grew up ugly, or my figure was out of shape, or I was intolerably vulgar, would you still care about old feelings? You would have run long ago. The fact is, you saw I was pretty and slept with me that very day. Stop pretending, Justin. Neither of us is a good person. But as long as you still want me, I won't tell your secret. The child in my belly doesn't have the lunatic gene. Having you as a father, isn't that perfect?" The ingratiation in Catherine's eyes was nearing madness, but she didn't notice. Justin beside her, his eyes were already crazed. He firmly strangled Catherine's neck, threw her heavily onto the coffee table nearby. Catherine's forehead hit the coffee table, and she fell heavily to the ground. A large pool of blood gradually spread on the floor. Catherine fainted and miscarried. Justin stood beside Catherine, looking at the blood all over the floor, trembling all over. In the corner, the surveillance camera ran quietly, recording all this. I knew the time had come and dialed the home phone. Picking up the phone, Justin asked me, "Claire, you gave that diary to Catherine, right? You found her so-called lover, too, right?" It seemed even if crazy, Justin was still a smart person. I didn't deny it, but told him. "Justin, my dad already knows everything. He is on his way to find Grandfather Hayes." "Justin, you are about to lose everything." How could my dad really trust me, even if his daughter was bullied by the Hayes family and about to be kicked out? After pondering for a long time, the final solution he thought of was still to negotiate with the man in charge of the Hayes family. He didn't think I, this daughter, could really stir up any waves. He also knew that after my mother passed away, I held hatred towards him. He didn't believe that in business, I would share what I got with him. After teaching the Hayes family a lesson and knowing Justin's secret, he felt he had leverage and wanted to find Grandfather Hayes, but he didn't consider the most unstable variable, Justin. After a series of stimulations, the current Justin was already crazy. On the main road outside the Hayes villa, Justin waited quietly for my dad's car. He asked me last on the phone, "Wifey, can we still go back? Do you remember we swore at the wedding? Birth, old age, sickness, and death. Never to leave or forsake. Do you not want me because I'm crazy?" I smiled back. But there was also a line in the vow about never betraying, wasn't there? "Justin, you were the one who didn't want me first. There are surveillance cameras at home. You pushed Catherine down, causing her miscarriage. I've already called the police. Intentional injury. How many years do you think you'll get? Also, when my dad tells Grandfather you're a lunatic, you will be completely alone in this world." "Is that so?" Justin's voice was suddenly terribly calm, but he finally said the words I wanted to hear most, "Then let's die together." My dad wasn't wrong about one thing. He indeed shouldn't have trusted me. The sound of a car suddenly starting came from the receiver, accompanied by the ear-piercing sound of impact. Justin drove the car, straight into my dad's car. It was already night. Outside, the storm continued to rage. Lightning flashed before my eyes and calls kept coming in on the phone beside my hand. Grandfather Hayes's, my brother's, the hospitals. A mess. But for me, there was only one most important point. After an accident. On this day, I, Claire Vance, finally lost my husband and father. But the little life in my belly was still growing healthily. This little life was conceived through artificial insemination abroad. A year ago, when suffering betrayal. I started planning this. For my child, I chose a genetic father with high IQ and perfect health in all aspects. After Justin was cremated and buried, the household register finally changed to widowed. I also chose this time to tell Grandfather Hayes the news of my pregnancy. At that moment, Grandfather Hayes burst into tears. Wonderful! Heaven ultimately couldn't bear to let my Hayes family line end. I have to pull myself together to see the child inherit the family business. I stroked my lower abdomen, smiling gently. Yes, with your love in the future, the child will definitely grow up healthy and be a good heir to the Hayes family. The old man held my hand to comfort me. Claire, who would have thought such an accident would happen? Don't be too sad about your dad's passing. A pregnant woman needs to take care of herself. I nodded. But actually, I wasn't sad. My dad died in his prime. Too late to leave a will. As the heir of the Vance family, I received the majority of the assets. The jewelry brands under the Vance family were now all under my name, plus the assets left by Justin's death. I needed to spend time managing and operating them. Why would I be sad? No time to be sad. When the children were born, I was already the true controller of the Hayes family. With the support of the Hayes family, my control over the Vance family also expanded day by day. My brothers were unconvinced, secretly mocking me for rising to power through my belly. I always laughed it off. In this world, there are plenty of people who do whatever it takes. If you don't calculate against others, you can only wait to be calculated against by others. Winners are kings, losers are bandits. How you win has never mattered. The children were healthy and beautiful, a pair of fraternal twins. When they were older, they pestered me asking, "Mom, why do other friends have dads but we don't?" I took them to stand on the top floor of the largest tower in the city center, letting them overlook the lights of thousands of homes. I told them, everything in the world is not perfect. When you grow up, you will understand. Some people have dads but aren't as happy as you without a dad. To be human, look more at what you possess in your hands. Just like playing card games, after getting the cards, only look at how to play them and don't agonize over whether the cards are good or bad. The two dolls seemed to understand, but not fully, then hugged me on left and right. Yeah, other kids say we have the most amazing mom in the world. We are already the happiest. Below, traffic and horses. I held them, calm inside. Yes, now everything was truly sailing in the direction I wanted. My life, like the rising sun, was welcoming complete freedom and wilderness. Everything was just right. It was all just beginning.